making Swedish meatballs. This is a family tradition for the Bremmers, and I'm going to be teaching my niece and my nephew and my sister how to make it today, and I'll share it with all of you. Step one is preparing the onions. The first step in making the meatballs is to actually make the meatballs themselves, and there are some ingredients that need to go in there to make sure they're seasoned correctly. I just saw on a video today that the easiest way to make your onions the right consistency is to grate them with a large grater. So watch as I do a little bit of this. Then what the man did is he took a handful, and he did this in Swedish, and he said, back up, back up, back up. And and then you have all the water out of it. The next step in making our Kottbullar is to make sure that the meatballs have something to hold them together. And so the best way to do that is to get some stale bread. We have these little toastlets. Just put a little milk in there with the bread. So you're making a milky here cup. Perfect. So you see, and it kind of absorbs the bread. And we're going to let these get all mushy and just sit for a minute. This is my nephew Cole, and he is now going to perform the bread smooshing. So just get your fingers right in there and kind of just smoosh up the bread. So yeah, is it still too hard?
It's a little bit, but not really.
Okay, so you can start just kind of tearing it apart. It may, because it was pretty stale, it may need to soak for a few more minutes, but this will help it. Yeah, this is going to need to soak a few more minutes because it really needs to be more like mush. Cole is now going to take all the meat, go ahead and start doing that, and put it in our big mixing bowl. Now I've used right now a combination of pork and beef, ground beef, but you can add other things too. Sometimes ground turkey is good if you don't want it quite so fat. And we've used ground lamb, we've used buffalo, chicken, whatever is ground up, anything that you want to make your flavors be the way you want them to be. Okay, now Cole has successfully put all the meat in the pan, so get in there with your fingers and just moosh them up. So the idea is you're mixing the meats together with the onions. Go. So Cole is taking our bread mixture, which as you can see, open your hand just a little bit, see how fine it is? It's pretty fine, and he's squeezing most of the milk. It doesn't have to be bone dry, it just, you don't want all that extra milk there. And he's a professional sous chef. Good, you just want to get those yolks mixed up.
And now we're good?
We're good. Now go ahead and pour it over the meat mixture. Okay, now we're going to season our meatballs, and it's a very simple seasoning. People who tell you to put all this extra hoo-ha in there, that's not real Swedish meatballs. So salt and pepper liberally, and of course you'll be able to adjust the seasoning once you get them in the gravy. And then the secret ingredients, a little allspice, nice close-up work, Cole. And please don't ask me how much because I have no idea. Yeah. Allspice and a little bit of nutmeg. Okay, so see how much? You could probably actually even do a little bit more, like that. Okay, so now we have our beef that's all been mixed very gently with the egg and the onion and the milky soaked bread and all the different meats. And this is an important tip right here. In Cole, you can see there's Cole, and he's standing by the stove. You're going to need a large soup pot because the balls will be poached after you fry them. So we're going to be putting beef stock in here. And if you prefer chicken stock, you can do chicken stock, it doesn't matter. But quite a bit of stock in here. And then we're going to preheat these pans so they are nice and ready, because guess what we have to do with this? We have to make balls, and that's going to take a minute. Okay, I'm going to show you how to roll your meatballs. We like ours to be a pretty good size because otherwise you're rolling balls and cooking them for most of your life. So just let's focus here. See how much meat I have? You want to just roll it in your hand, kind of compact it as much as you can so it sticks together. And then what I saw the Swedish man do is I saw him make all the balls and put them in the fridge for a while, which would be awesome. But we're not going to do that because we're going to show you how to fry these up. So I'm just going to make a couple of them, set them off to the side. And this is a great project for kids to do so that this becomes a family event. Somehow children enjoy getting their hands all beefy and porky and yucky. And okay, that's hot enough, and they just go in there. You don't want it too hot, but you do want it, oh, excuse me, Nicole. You do want it hot enough so that they're browning. And you're gonna, the objective here is not to cook them all the way through, but to just brown them. And then we put them in the poaching stock. Okay, Westerly, my sister. Say hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
And Cole, her son, are assisting with the meatballs. And as you can see, they require turning. The idea here again is not to cook them all the way through, but to sear them so they stay together when they're in the brew. And you can see some of the balls already floating. So let's sing our song now. Rollin', 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 keep those meatballs rollin', 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 Kottbullar. And there you have it. So we finished the frying, and now the balls are poaching in the beef broth. This should happen for at least a half hour. Okay, we're coming up on the final stages. I've removed all the meatballs. They poached for about 40 minutes. And I thickened the gravy with a flour and milk roux, and I'm just letting it kind of thicken up a little. You don't want it super thick. I mean, we don't eat it super thick. You can make it as thick as you want, but we just let it boil so it thickens, and then we're going to add sour cream.
Would it be a woo roux?
It's a woo roux. Okay, so we've added the sour cream in. I just used a tub and dumped it in. You turn it down because you don't want it to boil afterwards. And we put the meatballs back in. You can see the gravy's not super thick, because we like to have lots of it, and we like to have it with our rice. So there you have it, Kottbullar à la Bremer.